Hey there and welcome back to Remnant 2. Today we're going to be using the Huntress Spear again, and this time I'm going for like a machine gun spear. I'm throwing it a lot because I was talking to my brother and he was saying how he was using it with the Berserker's Bane and stuff, and just how much faster and better it felt like readying it up and throwing it. So I wanted to do something like that where I just throw the spear line. So that's what we are doing. Now the Huntress Spear, if you're not familiar, is a melee weapon that is charge attack throws it. It just got updated with better flight pattern and stuff. And then now it also adds corrosion, but the corrosion is secondary for what we're doing. For the mutator, there's a couple choices we can go with. I've chosen Edgelord because it increases that charge melee charge speed, by 35% and melee attack speed, which the melee attack speed is fine, but the charge speed is really nice. And then at level 10, we get Lifesteal, which is also just kind of nice as well. That's my choice that I'm going with because I'm trying to go with throwing it faster and faster. Now, depending on what you're trying to do and what you have access to, maybe you aren't looking for it to be this fast. Reinvigorate is a good choice because it's going to be good for your stamina. And in addition, it makes that charged attack do more damage and have a higher crit chance. I did mess around with using Tainted Blade because we can do 2 stacks of corrosion on guys. You know, not from Tainted Blade because it kind of acts wiggy, is all bugged with it. But if you put on the Red Ring of Death, that'll put 2 stacks of corrosion. So then you're doing 40% more melee damage on each throw. So that's kind of nice too. But again, without that extra stack of corrosion, it's a little lackluster to me. Those are my main choices, but depending on what you have, maybe you want to try something else to work with you. Now, after that, my archetypes. I'm running Explorer as my primary because we get, one, I'm not really worried about the lucky perk. Honestly, it should probably be swapped around for the handler to be my primary. So, but I have Explorer as one of mine, because we can get a pretty sizable damage bonus with its scavenger perk just by popping a relic, so that we don't have to work on everything. And then you've also got the Planeswalker skill, which increases our movement speed, but also reduces stamina cost. So stamina cost reduction is really going to allow us to completely spam things. It's almost like overkill at that point. But then we're going to run Handler. And Handler got an update here as well, so that now it also increases our melee damage. So I've just been running it a lot, depending on what you have going on, what you like. You know, you run something else, you know, Invader or something, you know, that you can build up stacks of Shark to increase your melee damage as well. Or just, you know, Medic, Alchemist, something that's just a generic boost to your damage as well. I will say I considered doing Challenger because Challenger has the Juggernaut skill, and Juggernaut increases our skill damage, or not skill damage, our melee damage by a lot, reduces stamina cost, and gives us a bulwark and a stagger reduction. So like that is a great choice, but the problem is the spear is a ranged weapon, so we're going to be kind of distant from a lot of guys, and the damage bonus from the Challenger is about getting close to guys. And so I just, you know, like, we could get some benefit out of it, but there's going to be a lot of times where it's just really not getting us any damage bonus. So that's why I ended up going with the Explorer, just because we get that nice, solid, generic damage boost across the board. Now, for the rings in our amulet that we've got going on, everything's pretty well bent around our melee damage. The amulet I've chosen is a Matriarch's Insignia, increasing our melee damage by 35%, and then each successful attack will give us 10 stamina back. So we're mitigating a little bit of our, you know, stamina cost throwing the spears, and it's doing more damage. Then we've got the Berserker's Crest, which increases the melee charge speed by 20%, and then reduces that stamina cost as well. So again, really making us a lot more efficient on our throws. Then Fey Warrior Ring, just 15% more melee damage. If you wanted, you could, like, you know, go as Burden of the Destroyer, which does all damage across the board, even though, you know, it reduces our range, or our range of our firearms. We're not using firearms, so we don't really care. We do have Brawler's Pride, increases our melee attack speed by another 15%, so, you know, just faster throwing. And then the last ring, this one is like our flex slot. So this could be where you put in like a Burden of the Destroyer, so you have that and the Warrior Ring. I went with Red Ring of Death to double up on the corrosion, because now instead of having like 1 stack of corrosion doing like 35 damage, now I've got 2 stacks doing 30 damage. It's just a huge damage boost. And a lot of the like small trash guys, I hit them once and they're very close to dying. And so having the double stacks of corrosion just quickly finishes them off for us. But like I said, running Burden of the Destroyer could be good. Maybe you want to run the Blood Jewel. You can get a bleed effect on there. It's kind of fun. There were some other ideas too. You know, you could run the Fey Bruiser Ring. Not the Fey Bruiser. Fey Warrior Ring. Yo, it is a bruiser. Fey Bruiser Ring. That'll give you 2 stacks of bulwark, so that, you know, you're just more defensive. Because right now, I'm sitting at 45% damage reduction, which is not a huge amount for Apocalypse. So having this could really help to make your process like a little bit better, right? And you could try and mess around with a Drakestone Pearl, but I find that it kind of interacts strangely with the Throne property. This is supposed to allow you to regenerate stamina during melee attacks, but to me, it doesn't. When you have the spear up, it doesn't allow you to regenerate. Like, I'll double check it. All right, here's a dude. Throne. Now, see how it halts that stamina? So I feel like we should be able to be regenerating stamina, but because it is, it doesn't count for some reason. I guess because we're not actually attacking, we're just holding a position. So it's not actually doing anything for us right now, which is a real bummer. But you can see how quickly we can just start throwing out spears and start catching dudes. And imagine if we actually had that double stack of corrosion, it would really finish off these guys who are down to like the last little section of their health. And we've also just got the dog, which is just helping to finish off enemies as well. But you can see, we are just constantly hooking spears in there, and it is super satisfying. I really enjoy it. You could also go with maybe like the Dying Ember, so you get more melee lifesteal. But like I said, we're very squishy, so for the most part, I've not had a lot of luck getting mileage out of it. But we do have the lifesteal thanks to our Huntress Spear, plus Siphoner on the side. Speaking of some of those traits, this is something that is left over from one of my previous builds as far as like the stats go. Bunch of points in Rugged and Blood Bond since I have the dog. Siphoner since we've got some damage over times, and just lifesteal in general. Regrowth, Fortify, Triage. I might swap them around a little bit to kind of get some more maybe endurance, depending on how your stamina feels. Like, I'm pretty solid with what I've got going on right now, so I don't need this maxed out. I also don't need the recovery maxed out. But depending on what you have equipped, you may tweak it around to get yourself feeling a little bit better. In my relic, I've got melee damage, melee attack speed, melee crit chance. Now, again, stamina, if you're, trying to figure out how to do your stamina, swap out the crit chance for, say, the melee charge attack stamina cost, and then you will, like, really be good to go on there. But I really didn't feel like I needed it, which is why I ended up putting that crit chance, just to go with even more damage. Though I should probably go with, like, something that's a little more defensive, like, say, increased health or armor, something like that. Now, there are some times when I am running this, and the spear gets a little janky. Like, I go and I throw it up, and it doesn't respawn in my hands. Like, there's a couple times, it's been like 2 seconds where I'm literally standing there with no weapon. Like, it doesn't regenerate, and so I can't actually attack. And when that happens, it can be really frustrating. Now, some of these attacks, like, if I'm hitting them back to back anyways, there's not really a point to me having the double stacks of corrosion going on. So at that point, it might be better for me to just go with, like the Burden of the Destroyer or something else that's going to work better for us. But look at this. We're in a very good situation here anyways, where there's a ton of melee dudes. Like, they're all running in to try and get me. And so we can just sit here and, throw crap at them. You get in some of these other situations, like in Narud specifically, where a lot of flying enemies, a lot of ranged enemies, and then, you got to be careful because they're actually shooting at you, so you have to play around there. But again, we're ranged, so it doesn't even matter that they're at a distance, because you can just keep hucking spears at them. And look how quick we can just start chucking things around. We just pivot around, look for the next target, and hit them, and hit them, and hit them. And you can see, even though our stamina was low, we rolled, but we're pretty okay. I'm getting a lot of, like, stutters in my frame rate, which is really obnoxious. I went ahead and popped the stamina there as well, because we were getting a little low on it. And, I wanted to kind of keep ourselves able to just constantly throwing things. I do have a stamina concoction as well, which I don't know that I feel is necessary. It is nice to have that higher maximum, because that means we can just keep throwing longer and longer before we really need to stop and make sure we're good to go. And it gives us a little more wiggle room, so that, like, if we're throwing a bunch, we still have stamina when we suddenly need to roll out of there. And my game frame rate is dropping every time I pick up an item. I don't know why that's a thing, but it is again. Now I'm going to try and find myself a boss. This looks like I'm going to be in the sewers, which actually, this will be kind of interesting, because it's going to be the Bloat King, which I really dislike, but it'll be a ranged target that we can just sit there and throw our spears at. Unfortunately, the dog is not going to do anything for us, really. Like, yeah, we still get the bonuses and stuff, but he's not quite gonna be doing any damage or anything, because obviously he can't attack a flying target. Get ourselves a aberrant guy. We'll get our dog buff going. I have the damage buff from the dog going on. One of the rings I was actually running a bit on my like last slot, my like flex slot, was the wood ring, because I liked that stagger improvement, because I could really be throwing spears at dudes and staggering them like elites and stuff, and then like really be able to keep throwing spears, because guess what, they're staggered. I'm trying to play it careful here because I need to watch my stamina, and I don't care to get like completely messed up by this dude. We can really slow him by jumping across like this, and then he's got to go down and then back up. Didn't mean to hit you, dog. I'm sorry. Whoop. Oh no. Oh, he's got empathy. Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, and then we just keep going. He's got that armor, so like we can't get like really solid hits on him unless we get like his hands. But you know, it's got the corrosion going on, so it is damage over time, even if we're really having to kind of play around with this whole, you know, dancing thing. Sometimes, and this could be like equipment related, you know, my gear. Sometimes I go to throw. Oh lord. Sometimes I go to throw the spear, and it's like it doesn't register that it wants to throw, and so that really messes me up at times, because I end up sitting there doing nothing, and I'm like, why aren't you throwing? And I don't know why. I don't have an answer for it. Uh-oh, what happened here? Oh, what is this? Uh-oh, I got stuck there. That was weird. It was like I got set up to throw, and then it like locked up. That's really weird. Another one. Rat swarm. Oh, I don't like that at all. Oh god, get out, get out. I don't have a super great skill to deal with that. All I've got is the time lapse and some other things. So maybe I can try and take it out before those rats can get me. Just keep some big distance. That went through the wall? Are you serious? I didn't know it could do that. Regenerator, huh? Oh, he's immune to corrosion. That's a problem. I forgot that's a thing. So I'm going to have to just rely on the, you know, regular spear throwing goodness. Now, I mean, that's not a common thing that you have to deal with on this whole thing anyways, is you know, somebody being immune to corrosion, because as far as I know, this is the only enemy type that is actually immune to corrosion, but I could be wrong. She's coming to get us. Oh, nope, not anymore. What is she doing? God, this is a freaking pincushion. And look at our stamina, though. Like, we don't have the thing up, but we've been pretty solid. As long as you hit the spears on guys and get that stamina back, it's pretty solid. Like, you're pretty okay on your stamina. All right, let's take on the Bloat King. Now, I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna prep correctly this time, especially because I am kind of squishy right now. Ethereal Orb to give us some more shock resistance, and then make sure I actually pull out the use my relic now. So I've got my full stacks of Scavenger for maximum damage right off the bat, followed by our dog skill. Bam. Elemental and resist and drain. Okay, well, luckily, not really too bad for our corrosion right now. The drain could be annoying with all these like little shots, you know. If I could stop trying to do the melee attack, that would be nice. Now I think we'll be kind of okay trading, because we've got the lifesteal with the corrosion and on hit effects, but the bad thing is having to hit this thing is being kind of annoying. It gets a little dodgy. Look at that thing. It's really dodging us. Good 3 throws in there before he could actually do anything. We'll activate this now because we can, you know, get our stamina cooking and good. We can actually freeze these with a time lapse. I didn't really talk at all about the weapons I have because the guns are just not important at all for this setup. I do need to use another relic though because I'm hurting, and I need to make sure that I I do not actually go down here. That would be really unfortunate. It's going to be very important that I actually hit the target, if I could actually hit the target. So I guess I'm just going to hit this and lifesteal stuff there, and then just let that do damage for me. There we are. Now, is this more efficient than hitting a dude with a gun consistently for the same amount of damage? The answer is no, obviously. Oh, god dang it. But it is fun. You know, it's something different. It's a different thing to do. Hey, dog. Get him up, and then we go up. Mostly I want the dog up because I want to be able to use his skill. That's very important for us. And then we're going to use this while he really tangos with all those guys over there. Good throw. Oh, I thought he was going to keep going there. Oh, come on. Ah, damn it. Yeah. Oh, cheeky. See, there's kind of like a delay, because it's almost like it waits for the spear to hit something before it actually, like, recalls it. Oh, see, I'm bugged again. Look at that. I'm bugged. That's so weird. I don't wonder why that happens. Another idea you could do is, because I'm thinking about the time lapse, right? Because this is all melee attacks, you could absolutely run some, like, arcane strike and stuff to, like, maximize how much, like, mod power you're getting from these throws, since they're all melee attacks. And then you could maybe do some kind of fun things with some mod. Nothing's jumping right into my mind here right now. I mean, time lapse is working out for us, but it's not specifically something amazing. We're gonna freeze it. There we go. One good throw. And then, oh, good hits now, except for there. All right, maybe we'll be able to finish off here. Oh, are you serious? My game stuttered. I'm blaming the game. I pulled off a relic, and I should have just hit it one more time, and then I would have won. I don't know why I did that. We won. It takes that took a while. That was. I used it on something else. I mean, you could see it on the aberrant guys. When you've got somebody who's actually like right there that you can consistently hit, you're gonna be able to, you know, consistently do DPS. But when you're dealing with something like that floaty, nonsensical ball that's halfway across a room and you're trying to throw a spear to hit it, obviously not as amazing. But for, you know, most of the general stuff, this is fun. Like, it's pretty fun to just, you know, rapid fire, just spear, you know, provided your controls. If you get the rhythm down, you can spit out a bunch. I would be kind of interested to try do just like a solid single hit kind of thing would be pretty fun too. You know, don't worry about so much about the rapid fireness of it, but just hit really hard, run the reinvigorate or something on there. You know, I think it'd be kind of fun. But that's pretty much it. You know, there's not much more to show you there. It is enjoyable to do. It's a different thing you can mess with. And if you enjoy the Huntress Spear and doing melee stuff, it's something worth trying, I would say. But until the next one, I really appreciate you guys like checking it out. I hope you enjoyed it. And I always do really appreciate it. And yeah, take care.